Okay, let's dive into this explainer. Today, we're looking at a completely terrifying evolution in cybercrime. I mean, forget your standard sketchy phishing links for a second. We are talking about what happens when a scammer literally holds you hostage right through your screen. Based on a truly chilling report out of India, we're going to deconstruct the anatomy of what's called a virtual arrest scam. We'll see exactly how criminals manage to turn an innocent couple's own home into a digital prison.
So, to really wrap our heads around what happened here, we need to nail down exactly what a virtual arrest actually is. At its core, it's a highly coordinated cyber scam. Basically, fraudsters impersonate police or enforcement officials, usually ending up on a WhatsApp video call. They look you in the eye and falsely claim you're implicated in a serious criminal case. Now, physical kidnapping is a crime we all know, right? We fear it. But this digital hostage situation is a totally novel and incredibly sophisticated trap. The scammers don't even need to physically tie you up, they lock you down psychologically. They weaponize authority, fear, and everyday tech to restrict your movements, dictate every action, and completely isolate you from the outside world. And they do the whole shebang without ever setting foot inside your house.
And honestly, this brilliantly illustrates why this crime is just so devastating. It preys on profound vulnerability. Our focus today is on the specific targets of one of these elaborate ops, an elderly couple living alone in a rented house in Kanakad, Kerala. We're talking about a 69-year-old retired teacher and a 72-year-old wife who is a retired government homeopathy doctor. This couple, they represent the absolute prime targets for this kind of operation. Why? Well, because they live alone. That means no immediate second opinions hanging around the living room. And, crucially, and the husband himself actually pointed this out, they hardly ever used mobile phones. They were complete technological novices. They had absolutely zero prior knowledge that a scam like this even existed in the world. It really set the perfect stage for them to fall victim to the nightmare that was about to unfold.
Let's move to and see how this builds, because you really have to watch how quickly this trap snaps shut. The scammers didn't just, ask for money right out of the gate. They carefully built this massive web of authority. Step 1. It all kicks off on the morning of August 10th with an international phone call. The caller is speaking Hindi, claiming to be from the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, or TRAI, and they casually drop this total bombshell that the wife is tangled up in a money laundering case being probed by the Central Bureau of Investigation, the CBI. Step 2 hits literally just minutes later. It's a WhatsApp video call. Boom, on the screen is a man in a full police uniform, ordering them to remain calm. And here is the truly genius and terrifying part. A Hindi to Malayalam translator joins the call. This localizes the threat perfectly. It makes it feel incredibly real and removes any language barrier that might have tripped them up or broken the spell. And finally, step 3, they hit them with the fake evidence to cement the lie.
Right, so then the scammers hit them with the actual accusations. And notice the stark contrast here between how heavy the accusation is versus the actual evidence they provided. The fraudsters claim that during a raid on the house of the former Jet Airways chairman, Naresh Goyal, who, by the way, is a very real, very high-profile person in India, they supposedly found the retired doctor's ID and bank details. Dropping a real, recognizable name, that is a classic psychological manipulation tactic. It completely overwhelms the victims with the sheer scale of the alleged crime. But then look at the evidence. They show an unclear ATM card over a grainy video stream. When the couple, very rightly, pointed out, hey, we don't even have an account with that bank, the scammers didn't miss a beat. They immediately pivoted and flashed a forged Aadhaar card, an official Indian government ID with the couple's names right there on it. The visual of seeing that official-looking document right on the screen totally short-circuited the couple's own logic.
What followed was a grueling 11-day ordeal. Let's map out this timeline so we can really grasp the tension and the agonizing pacing of this extortion. It starts on August 10th with that initial contact and the immediate isolation under this so-called virtual arrest. Just 2 days later, on August 12th, they crank up the pressure with the fake virtual courtroom, which is wild, and we'll dig into that in a second. But look at the gap between the 12th and the 19th. For an entire week, this elderly couple is kept in a state of sustained, pure fear. They are softened up, they are exhausted, they are completely isolated from the world before the scammers finally move in for the extraction phase, forcing those massive money transfers between August 19th and 21st. 11 days. That is how long these cybercriminals maintained absolute psychological control over this household.
I want you to just listen to the sheer claustrophobia in the victim's own words. He said, "We had to seek permission from the person on screen even to attend to basic needs. My wife had to ask for approval to visit the doctor." The reality of that statement is it's terrifying. They were ordered to stay positioned right in front of that mobile phone, with the video camera on at all times. I mean, they were in their own home, sitting in their own living room, but they were prisoners. The scammers essentially turned a common everyday smartphone into a full-blown surveillance camera. They enforced this digital panopticon, where this retired couple genuinely believed that if they even stepped off screen to grab a glass of water without permission, they were going to be thrown in a physical jail.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer theatricality of modern scams. It's truly astounding. On August 12th, the fraudsters told the couple their case was being heard virtually by a CBI court all the way over in Mumbai. Over the video call, they literally presented a fully staged courtroom set. There were people dressed up as lawyers, there was a guy playing the role of a judge, and get this, when this fake judge entered the screen, the scammers instructed the elderly couple who were sitting miles and miles away in Kerala to physically stand up out of respect for the court. They called out their names, they had scripted legal jargon flying back and forth that the couple couldn't even follow. This wasn't just some quick phone scam. No, this was an elaborate live-action theatrical production designed exclusively to completely paralyze these victims with the overwhelming authority of the state.
And all of that theater, all of that intense fear, it all led to this staggering number. 2.4 crore rupees. The scammers convinced the couple that their bank accounts urgently needed to be verified to clear their names. To supposedly do this, they were instructed to transfer all their savings into bank accounts that the fraudsters falsely claimed belonged directly to the Supreme Court. Between August 19th and 21st, completely broken down and thoroughly manipulated, the couple initiated 4 separate transactions. They transferred an incredible sum of 2.4 crore rupees. That is an absolute fortune, straight into the hands of these criminals. And behind that massive number is just a heartbreaking human reality. As the retired teacher explained it, this was our entire life savings. We didn't even buy a house, thinking the money would help with medical expenses in our old age. You know, this wasn't surplus wealth. This was the culmination of decades of hard work as dedicated public servants, a teacher and a doctor. They literally sacrificed home ownership for the security of a medical safety net in their twilight years. And in just 4 clicks, over 3 days, that entire safety net, carefully woven over a lifetime, was stolen by people sitting in a fake room on the other side of a screen.
So, how in the world did this 11-day nightmare actually end? Well, it took an outside perspective to finally break that digital spell. Let's look at the stealthy actions the victims had to take. First, a relative randomly visited their home. While the husband was stuck sitting in front of the camera, the wife managed to pull the relative into another room and quietly explain what was going on. The relative instantly recognized it as a cyber fraud. Second, the husband had to formulate a quick escape plan. He told the camera he was just going out to buy medicine. Third, instead of going to the pharmacy, he went straight to his bank and secretly alerted the manager. Fourth, they headed directly to the Kasaragod cyber police. And incredibly, the fraudsters actually called the couple while they were standing right there in the police station. The second the scammers realized where the couple was, boom, they abruptly disconnected the call. The illusion was finally shattered.
The aftermath of this whole ordeal leaves us with a real mix of rapid action but also lingering devastation. The Kasaragod Cyber Police moved immediately on August 22nd. They registered a case under the Information Technology Act and the new criminal codes, the BNS. Critically, the police moved fast to freeze the accounts where the money had been sent. They confirmed that around 55 lakh rupees still remained in those accounts, and efforts are definitely underway right now to recover those funds. An investigation is currently progressing to trace the highly organized network operating behind all this. But while some money might actually be saved, the victims remain severely traumatized. They are still struggling to recover from the sheer shock of a crime they didn't even know existed.
So, the crucial point is this. As cybercrime evolves away from simple text messages into these elaborate, multi-day psychological operations, complete with fake courtrooms and forged government documents, our defenses have to evolve as well. This retired couple did absolutely nothing wrong. They simply answered a phone call, and they fell victim to a highly sophisticated trap designed specifically to exploit their respect for authority and their unfamiliarity with digital technology. If an innocent video call can turn a home into a digital prison, are you and your aging relatives truly safe from the next evolution of cybercrime? It is entirely on us to have these conversations, to educate our vulnerable loved ones, and to make absolutely sure they know that no legitimate law enforcement agency will ever conduct an arrest or demand your life savings over a WhatsApp video call.